Hey, good morning. This is Jared and Nate, the eCarrierCheck Show. We're live today. I'm excited. It is Husker Thursday. We're representing. We're ready for a little Husker game tonight. I'm excited for the week, man. It's been a great week. We've seen and heard from a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
What's up, man? Good morning.
You, man. It's good to see you.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of people this week. We touched base with a lot of freight brokers. A couple shippers. I mean, it's been a great week. I can't complain.
Yeah.
Husker volleyball last night.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
making history. 92,000 plus people right there in Lincoln, Nebraska. Obviously, we're on the other end of the state, but definitely one of those mornings where it's good day to be a Husker.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
I agree.
I got to share with you a couple stories or questions that came to us today, and I'm excited to talk through some of these. Obviously things are challenging out there, right?
Yeah.
We've got, we're seeing,
Hey, Jessica.
Really challenging. What's up, Jessica? It's good to see you. We're seeing, brokers, it's a negative number weekly, right? Yep. Carriers, it's a negative number weekly. All these people are going out of business. It's a challenging environment. Shippers don't even want to talk to you.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You and I went over to that brokerage and made calls the other day, and they don't even care if you're a broker or a carrier at this point. Yeah. It used to be like, oh, are you a freight broker? We don't work with brokers. Now they don't even care. They don't even want to talk to anybody. They are just getting inundated with thousands of calls.
Yeah. It was actually yesterday. It was kind of I don't know how to explain how I felt about it, but I mean, there's a couple of good shippers out there that were like, hey, you're my third call today. I appreciate you for calling. Keep up the grind, but I'm good.
Right.
Quick calling kind of thing.
Absolutely. Hey, what's going on, Tire Killer? Good to see you, man. Let's see where he's at. He's from Chicago, heading back to Blytheville. All right. I like that. How's the step deck work? What are you hauling? You still hauling steel? Be curious to know about that. Jessica, I hope your kids are enjoying school as well. Man, I tell you what, we're back in the flow. Yeah. I've got the school line, where you drop off the kids. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I've got the rotation. It's a wonderful situation.
Yeah.
The call is back to work here. Sorry, I get so excited. Honestly, some of the questions that keep coming in is, I got to find a shipper. I got to get a shipper. Everyone needs shippers, right? And those brokers that have shippers, boy, protect them. Right. Take the minute to build that relationship right now, because there's somebody knocking on their back door every minute, every day,
trying to be better,
just trying to be better and trying to give them service.
Exactly. And to even add to that flavor, Jessica hit it on the head yesterday too about double brokering and, making sure that you're hiring the best carriers for those shippers, right? You got to really pay attention to that and kind of do your homework. So hopefully today's show, we can give you guys some lights on how to do some more of that homework for free.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the interesting thing is we, having a free site for people. We are really stepping up and saying, hey, we want to show a carrier vetting platform that's free, because this is a big issue in America, and we're here to support it.
Yes.
Right. Not only economically is it challenging, but fraudulent side of things is really challenging. People are just hacking every which way.
Right.
If you got a check out there, people are just trying to hack.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Trying to friggin' do fraudulent stuff. It's crazy.
Right.
So I would even be curious from some of those larger brokers, that do pay with checks. Are they seeing any more fraudulent activity on their bank accounts, and how are they keeping up with that as well? Because there's that side of it as well. Not even just hiring carriers, but the side of people stealing checks and things like that.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
That's a really good example. Checking the accounts weekly.
Yeah.
Make sure everything looks solid.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point there. Let me show the site here. And I want to talk a little bit about our free carrier vetting service that we just dropped about a week ago.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are new here, you can now go to eCarrierCheck.com and you will see how you can start vetting your carriers that calling out the load boards.
Right. This is just free. This is out on our platform, just free, eCarrierCheck.com, and you can vet anybody and see where we feel they're at as far as vetting.
Right.
And take us through.
So quick example, I wrote down an MC and, let's see what we pull up here and we'll give you guys an idea. We'll make sure you're not a robot. So you can see how I already just gathered, this carrier's a little bit of their info. They're low risk. They are active. A little bit about that stuff. We can actually click into the carrier, and this will give us even more info. Now, when you when you utilize our free carrier vetting service, this is what you see here. Basically is what you want to be looking into, right, to help you vet that carrier. So there's some homework there. Still, read it thoroughly. But as far as like making the list, like some of you that are here every week, which I love, you can't make a list from here. You can't export anything, right? This is more for you to type it in. Let's run through the homework. Let's see if this carrier is good enough to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. I like what I like about this is, there's so many people out there that are in a challenging time. They need a vetting platform. And so, we're not costing them anything to come to our website and type in an MCDOT and look at that risk profile. Right. So pretty excited about, giving this back because you know what, this industry needs it pretty bad right now.
100%.
Boy, howdy. A free risk radar. Here you go.
Because literally, you've been in this industry since 2008. Yeah. And you've telling me every day one load can literally change your life. Oh, yeah. Now, for the better or for worse, right?
Absolutely. It doesn't. Yeah. If you hire the wrong carrier and they steal the load or they get in an accident and you didn't vet them properly, there's some things that can happen here that, that $200, rip that you just made, that margin, right? Was it worth it? Right. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. To hire this carrier, right? And so going down this road is really important. We show what I really like about this, and obviously, we give you a quick rundown too. The carrier profile is really well thought out. We let you know the different types of trucks. One of the bigger fraudulent concepts that is out there is, these people are calling in. They're either buying authorities that have inspections, so you're not even looking for them. Right. But if you come into here, we'll tell you what kind of equipment they're running. This guy's got a van trailer, so if he's calling in on a flatbed,
doesn't make sense.
It might not make sense. Right. You may need to do a deeper dive. Right. This isn't the end all be all with these carriers, but boy, it's going to give you a head start, like a big quick head start.
100%. Yep.
Which I'm a fan of. We got that. So you can really come in. The other side of this real quick, because I think it's really important that you see this, for you dispatchers out there that are finding carriers. Weirdly enough, we had a carrier yesterday calling in and asking for a dispatcher.
Yeah. That was a weird cold call.
It was a weird cold call.
We got cold called yesterday.
It was kind of fun. We're like, you want what? But for those that, that are watching or on the website here, you can actually browse carriers by state. You can look them up, just go into the great state of Nebraska and we'll, we got a pop up here. There we go. But you can go through and look at the carriers that are right there in Nebraska, Arkansas, wherever it may be. Right. So.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the programmers or development team added that feature.
Yeah.
It's quite different. I don't think I've ever seen anything like this so far.
I don't think I have either.
So yeah, let me back up here. So we did, you could do that as well. It's browse by states. Right. We have some FAQs.
Which I like actually, the FAQs. Mm-hmm. Honestly, yesterday Jessica asked a really interesting question about how do we do this? Where are we getting this information from? Right. What is it that we're doing that may be different that's out there? And this FAQ, honestly, is really deep. Mm-hmm. We're sharing everything about us, right? Yeah. And honestly, what's beautiful is if you want this type of, or even a deeper in-depth, concept built into your TMS, built into a platform that you're on, we have the ability to connect with our APIs. And in fact, actually yesterday, I just was meeting with a company that we're going to be connecting with so that they have the ability to vet carriers. Yeah. Right. Yep. So we show you everything. You got to do a little reading. Heaven forbid you pick up a book.
Yeah. And I think the most important thing is we want you guys to understand where we're coming from. We want to be transparent. It's important to understand what you are utilizing as far as technology, so that way you understand that, hey, this is good data. Right. These people really care about the industry. And, like I said, Jerry's been in here since 2008. I don't know if I know anyone that's been in the industry longer.
Well,
that tells me you love the industry,
there's plenty of people have, but
Yeah.
I tell you what, I've seen a couple different crazy cycles, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and you just have to kind of keep your head down and grind.
Right.
And you know, this is definitely a crazy time right now. You see the hundreds of people, broker or carrier, going out of business. It breaks my heart.
Yep.
I think this is why I like this is why we built this platform, though, is to help people diversify relationships.
Right.
Whatever that may be, whether you're a carrier and you need better broker relationships, or you need, maybe direct shipper relationships, or you're a broker and you need better carrier relationships because you're tired of having to friggin' deal with the fraudulent activity that you may be getting from call-in boards.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so there's that.
Excuse me. So part of that phone call yesterday, which is kind of interesting, when I got that sales call. Well, the guy looking for a dispatcher, the carrier, thought I was a dispatcher. I'm not, obviously, but he didn't even think about calling shippers to get it set up directly.
Right.
I mean, he was a new carrier. He's only been 2 months old.
Right.
He's new. Okay.
Right.
So I'll give him that, but that's what we did. I felt like I helped them in a little bit of way.
Yeah.
Hey man, how about we look for some freight brokers that off eCarrierCheck that aren't maybe on the load boards, maybe have more dedicated lanes that fit your niche better, and you also have that ability to start calling or finding leads to shippers.
Right.
To, like you said, don't have your eggs in one basket. And he kind of sat on the phone and kind of paused. He's like, "So how much is your service?" Right. So I'm like, now we're thinking. We're thinking differently here.
Like,
so
let's go out and create our own future.
Exactly.
Honestly, I got to give it up for that guy. Who starts a company in the middle of this?
I didn't. For sure.
Like, I mean, I just bought a boat and I'm going to drive right into a hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's nuts. You take some guts, or maybe enough research wasn't done. I don't know.
Right.
But you know what? He seemed eager to try to help himself.
Right.
And that's probably the first start.
Yeah.
Right? Let's pick up the phone. Let's try to find some people that can help you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
respect the man.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Absolutely.
So we also, to add to the freemium, obviously, there's certain things that you won't get, but for those things I do want to kind of show you as well is, let me go over here and block my YouTube settings so we don't get in trouble. But for those of you that, we do have the daily monitoring done. Set up your monitoring selections, right? What do you want to monitor? We have a recommended. So I went over this yesterday with a customer, and because they didn't know we had it.
Yep.
It's okay. We're here to help you, but you can see how we can recommend what we would monitor, right? You see all that good stuff there. Now this is all in your settings tab, okay? But I think the one thing I really need to get off my plate was, where do all these carriers go that I'm monitoring, and can I export them? Because you can. So these are all the carriers that I'm monitoring, for example. Okay, with the I.
And pretty much, if you're in a list of carriers, all you have to do is click the I.
Right.
And
simple as that.
And it'll let you go out and go down that road. So if you deselect them, they'll come off your monitoring. If you reselect them, they'll stay on your monitoring, and then we'll send you those emails. If you're not seeing those emails, definitely just hop into your junk, approve them, make them, do those things, because it is coming from our automated email service. So if you're not seeing those come in, let us know. We'd love any questions. Obviously, we save our Q&A and live for questions. So if anyone's got any questions or just wants to, tell us what's going on in their life, feel free to throw it in the comments. We're here to help
for sure,
any way we can. So
for sure. And a couple of things too, since we talked about that brokerage we were at yesterday, and they were doing some cold calling. A couple of things, we kind of talked about was calling lower volume shippers. Yeah. I had a broker that was calling some of those higher volumes, and every time you call the shipper, press 1 for this, press 5 for this. That's one interesting thing about our platform is you can simply find those. Let me go back here. You can simply find those lower volume shippers, and hopefully that, they don't have those crazy, dial this for that, but, sort them by size. Yep. And then when you do it, go to the last page.
Go to the last page. It's also easier to have a conversation. You and I were able to do cold calls yesterday on our own. We just recorded them, probably a video coming out here soon. But, you can talk to these people a majority of the time. They're still larger shippers. Yeah. They're just lower volume in our world with, how many bill of ladings. But I think what's amazing with our site is is how we kind of overlay our shipper and sales, our shipper and our carrier data. And you start to see, what's up, George? Love the content. Keep bringing that, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you're on. But I think what's really unique is how we're able to overlay our shipper data on top of our carrier data.
Yeah.
So you're still calling niches, right?
Right.
You're still calling, hey, I'm good at the Southeast. I'm good with a van, or in some particular cases, yesterday we were calling, flatbed guys, kind of like, and then I got a buddy too. I'll have to have him hook up with Tire Killer here. He loves step deck loads. He does like kind of overhyped transformers for utility companies.
Yeah.
And he just kills it, right? And he loves step decks. He loves meeting step deck people. So I have to get Tire Killer and him hooked up, because I think he's running a lot out of like the Kentucky area, going up into like Cincinnati, which may be just a layer over than what he's doing, because he's more of a Arkansas, Chicago. He's more, he may be just off one highway here, or interstate. But boy, I love the way we overlay this, because boy, everybody needs a shipper right now. Everybody needs a good paying load. Mm-hmm. Everybody needs to find those people, and we're going to show you that.
Right. And like you said too, those calls yesterday, these shippers aren't wanting calls from anyone.
Oh, so my Lord.
Anyone watching,
that was frustrating.
Just know it's going to come up.
Yeah.
That's just no way about it. It's either they're slow, they don't have the time, whatever. But it's just the way of the game. Right.
I definitely think right now, choosing the first 5 to 10 words coming out of your mouth, boy, you better be on point.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? And you can't stumble. And if you do stumble, just go make another call, right?
Right.
Just go try it a little bit differently. Try a little bit differently. And I think you're going to see a little bit better result. But you've got to start. I almost feel like right now in sales, I almost feel like you have to start your story in the middle now, instead of at the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to zoom to chapter 5, and we're going to say, you're going to have just a different way of saying the first part, right? We're in that, it's so interesting. And then I'll get into George's question here, and keep the questions coming, guys. We love the questions. We love anything, but I can say that I bet I've reinvented the way I've sold 7 or 8 times since 2008, maybe even up to 10.
Okay.
You're not selling the same way you were in 2008. Boy, you really just have to really focus on the first 5 words.
Yeah.
And it better be halfway through the story in order to get it done.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Right. That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Let's help George out here.
Yes. Let's see. Can you search for certain commodities in eCarrierCheck? Yeah, there's a couple ways we can do that. So
absolutely.
The one way
give us a commodity you're trying to search. I'm just kind of curious. But let's just for the sake of the conversation, let's do egg. Right? We'll wait for George to throw one in, but let's just do egg.
Okay.
Right?
Now, do we want to do shipper name?
Let's do both. Let's do both. Let's do shippers. Let's do carriers. And remember spacebar, and then just throw it out there. Let's just see what shippers are out there with the word egg in it, right? And imagine doing this with anything: signs, mushrooms, plastic, pipe, steel.
Maybe a city name.
There we go. Right? There's 2 pages: Fairfield Specialty Eggs, Newburgh Eggs, William Eggs, Cold Spring Eggs. Right? And we're going to show you, those shippers by the name. Right. There's your commodity, which is just wonderful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love that we're able to show you those shippers by equipment. And you may not think, you're like, well, what eggs are always shipped in reefers, not necessarily. There's the shells, there's the liquid, there could be tankers involved here.
Yeah.
So we can get really deep with our filter function, kind of like an Amazon filter over here, and just start to work the process. Well, I need to find them over in this part of the region or this country or wherever we're at, right? So, I mean, here we go, right? It'll take you into that. It'll kind of search this again, and boom, we'll show 50 shippers per page, right? But then go to the egg as a carrier for the sake of it. And you can do it a couple different ways, right? We can look up carriers that have the word egg in them.
Yep.
Or we can actually go into, like, say, let's just go to Chicago and try to find anybody that has the word egg in their name, right?
Oh, in their name.
No. In their
Yes.
description of what they say
Yep.
for the FMCSA.
Yep.
Right.
So I'm gonna go to Chicago.
Yeah, do Chicago. Chicago's where Tire Killer was at.
Like that. And then Jared touched on this commodity keyword search. Now this keyword search is going to start searching. If you hover these, if you hover over these equipments, these little images, you'll start seeing general freight, right?
Yeah.
So we want to look for. Should we do egg
Yeah,
first?
just do egg. Let's just see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, take a look at this.
Eggs.
Egg. And look at this guy. He's got tankers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this cat's doing that. Eggs. I mean, now you're seeing all the companies that are doing eggs. And honestly, sometimes in a world where you're hauling kind of a precious commodity, not a bad idea to hire somebody that's used to it.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple of things too. So yeah, these guys are hauling eggs. Now another thing we could do is see if they have any shippers under them. So we could go through some of that data too. Click into the carrier profile. Scroll down to their map, right? And then our goal is to find Daybreak Foods.
Yep.
Maybe move some eggs from there.
Yeah.
Right. So you see how we're doing a reverse
through.
Yeah, we're doing a reverse prospecting
Yeah.
to find
We've layered our shipper database or sprinkled it throughout that. Right.
Oh, Tim says mushrooms.
Yeah, I like
that's
that.
a good one too. We could do mushrooms.
I thought this was kind of interesting just because I haven't looked this one up. Do shippers because I thought this was entertaining. I've never even thought about looking up mushrooms, and I've searched everything.
Yeah, same.
I mean, dirty words, not dirty words, all of the words. I've searched them all.
This is the one you did.
I didn't do mushrooms, and so I love that. I mean, there any kind of commodity you can imagine that's out there is going to be in here.
Yeah,
and then you just have to think through. Like I was mentioning in a previous video, is you have to think through what happens after it's taken from the raw to the next level, right? And there's another supply chain. I'll give you an example. If Tire Killer is hauling steel, rolls of steel, right? What does that end up into, right? It could be some kind of fabrication shop. It could be a foundry place. They could be melting that down and turning it into manhole covers and drains, right? Sending it all over the country. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm a big fan of looking for the second tier of what they make with it.
Right. So this is a little bit of homework you got to start adding. Kind of what you're mentioning. Like I would have never thought, or I don't know what tier you can make with that, right?
I'll give you another one because I used to be in bulk, right? And I used to haul a weird amount of fertilizer in the spring to farms and cooperatives, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? And prior to that crazy fertilizer haul, right, we would be bringing raw urea in and you raw like potash in. Yeah. And all these components that are mined and brought to the table that says, hey, we're going to make this fertilizer and it has these 5 ingredients in it. And we bring all that in. So then guess what? I never really got involved in the beginning, but I would do the fertilizer. Well, I'm hauling all those things, right? So there's that side of it, right? It's no different than maybe the roofing industry, maybe a good one. Raw product to make shingles, flatbeds to go to Home Depot, right?
Right.
And that's what you got to bring a bunch of material to make shingles. They don't just friggin' print them, right? They don't just all of a sudden just crap out a shingle. It doesn't work that way, right? You have to get a bunch of raw ingredients and tar and a weird amount of asphalt, and then you make shingles, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
So every industry has a secondary industry, and that's where I lived. I loved being just a little bit further down the line and in the shadows. You know what I mean?
Right. And you knew the game, so it's like
you just played the game.
And
this is why we made eCarrierCheck, right? Because then I could find those friggin' shippers.
Right.
I could find those carriers, right?
You were able to stay in that niche.
You could play the niche, right? I've got another buddy that loves aluminum, right? Yeah. And he is obsessed with finding aluminum stuff, right? So it's just one of those things. It just takes you to that next level.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to make calls. If you were making 100 calls, before, in this environment, you're making 2.
Right. Yeah.
And you got to start your story in the middle of the book, not at the beginning right now.
Right.
When you get 5 words out of your mouth, they better be good.
Yeah, for sure, man. Especially what we saw yesterday.
Boy, they better be good. They better be really. Had to step out and get fuel. Did I miss anything good? Yes. I mean, we're gonna replay this, Tire Killer.
Run it back.
Oh my gosh! Honestly, Tire Killer, I don't know if you want to share this. How much is your fuel bill? You know, are you pumping $1,200 into that truck right now? I mean, diesel has gone through the roof in the last 90 days. All of a sudden, diesel is like, hey, I got an idea. Let's go up. Look at this. Look at the national weekly average. Look at California. How effed up is that?
Jeez. Let me switch the screens here.
This is crazy, man. Like, yeah, can they see that? Nice cup. I have one too. Oh, Shane, what's up, brother? How are you, man? Like, I haven't heard from you for a while. How you been? I love that. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Hope your business is well. Hope life is good. Hope you're healthy. But look at the fuel prices. Fuel is absolutely. Scroll back over to the next one. Sorry, it just kind of is on the auto scroll. Go back one more. There we go. Look at fuel right now. Man, I tell you what, I bet Tire Killer just paid $1,200, $3,000 a week.
Holy.
And how many? I mean, what are you getting for miles per gallon? Are you getting 12, 7? You running one of them fancy electric ones? What do you got there? I bet he's a long nose Pete guy and he's getting 5. That's. Oh, and I love this. Obviously, the hurricane's going through. I hope and pray for those people that have been impacted by it. Yep. Boy, some of the pictures this morning on the Weather Channel broke my heart.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Truly, like God, like it just. I hate to see these.
I know.
You know, it definitely spurs.
Yeah.
It spurs economic growth, but it is not a good way of doing it because it affects a lot of loved ones. You know what I mean? Those people will be without power for a while.
Exactly.
But fuel's tough, you know, and if you're not charging for fuel or if you're not adding that in or having a fuel surcharge table, it depends on the shipper. Some of them do, some of them don't, but you've definitely got to take that into consideration when you're spending $3,000 a week on fuel.
And that brings me up to another point where, honestly, I would recommend going to Shaggy because Shaggy is really good at helping you truckers understand your costs.
Yep.
I mean, Shaggy breaks it down.
He does. When it comes to cost,
absolutely. And this guy yesterday that called me, he's like, I don't even know how to go bid.
Yeah.
I'm like, brother, like you gotta understand your costs. You gotta. I don't know if you should be doing this right now. But I was like, you gotta understand your costs, man. Like, you gotta understand what you're coming with, how you're gonna provide value for that shipper. You don't want to go call a shipper and be like, well, I'm going to get back to you on that because I have no idea. So, you know, that's important to know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, holy cow. Absolutely. Long nose. Look at this. Getting around 5.5. Damn it. Well, I get it. You still got are you at least an automatic? I wonder if he's driving an automatic, you know, or you still got it just sitting there, just shifting gears and doing what you're doing, man. I love that. I can't get enough of that.
I love that. Maybe he should take us to work one day.
I think he should.
He'll pick us up in Nebraska. Let's go for a trip.
I feel like this is what we need to do. We need to get you on, just have your phone up, and we'll just have you driving down the road next time. That's happening this month. We've got to do it in September. You're going to come on, and we're talking truck. So
I'll meet you at the nearest truck stop somehow.
Oh man,
that'd be awesome.
I just like to have him on.
Yeah,
you know, we're just cruising down the road having a chat.
For sure. If there's any questions, 18 speed.
18 speed. Gotcha. He's just doing what he does.
Yeah.
We're just going. I
love
that. I don't necessarily have anything else for today. Obviously, it's Labor Day weekend. I hope you guys spend it with your family and friends and just relax and fill up that cup because we are all in a hard industry and it's a hard time and you got to keep, you know, some positive, you know, aspects to your life.
Yeah, I agree. You know, cost is everything. Shaggy's method is great because it includes household liabilities. Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing, man.
Right. I mean,
you kind of hit it on the
Shaggy goes crazy, but it's great. And, you know, I'm going to have to look back at my homework that he gave me, but it's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot that you don't think that you should be putting into your cost that you should be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, exactly, Shane. But, yeah, other than that, guys, thanks for being here. Every Monday, we'll have some demos, right? Live demos, 6 p.m.
Not
Eastern.
This next day.
Not this next Monday.
Labor Day. I'm sorry.
Right. So enjoy your weekend. We got some really awesome video coming out next Friday.
Yep.
I'm not going to spoil it, but it's on Premiere, so check. Make sure you set a notification.
Yep.
It's a really good video,
Yep.
I think, in my opinion. So, but other than that, guys, we're here to help you. Our number one goal is to help you protect and grow your business.
Yeah.
We're just a phone call away. You know what I mean?
So right here. Go Huskers. I hope all of you are watching the Minnesota game tonight. Minnesota Huskers were not favored to win tonight.
+7.
Yeah.
So maybe hammer.
Like
I don't know.
We'll see. It should be good. Guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for being on. We'll talk later.
What's up, Alejandro? See you guys.